what we're gonna do first is I'm gonna do a little getting unstuck seminar for you. I already just kind of did it, but like I said, I like to show a failure point. I don't know if we're gonna find it out here. I don't know if there's quite an obstacle that's big enough. We may even all move up to that big boulder up there. That might be good enough for me to fail on. But I like riders to see where I fail, right? And see the struggle, see what the point of what I'm doing is. And that's the biggest thing. You find out what the point of it is. The drive that we're looking for. That's the important part of this understanding. We need to learn how to start with our weight back, drive our weight through the obstacle, get our weight in front of the machine, in front of the acceleration forces first. If we can't get our weight in front of the acceleration forces, we end up struggling. And that's the whole point of me showing you guys my failure point, is as we get bigger and bigger in the obstacles, I can't overcome the disadvantage that I'm at. The higher my front tire is, the more I have to work to get in front of those acceleration forces. Does that make sense to everybody? So I'm gonna show you. This is always a fun thing too. You get to watch me, and hopefully I'll fail at some point and you can see that I don't do everything perfect, right? I make a lot of mistakes, especially in my own training when you guys aren't around. I'm always trying to find that limit and just kind of work it, right? So we'll see here. I mean, that one looks pretty big, but I'm pretty sure I can do that. That's tall. If it was sideways, maybe, but I should be able to do all of these, but regardless, you'll see the change as I start in the lower side and work my way higher and higher and higher. You're gonna see the adjustments in body position and how I get above that machine as the obstacle gets bigger and bigger. You're also gonna hear a difference in power delivery. You'll definitely see a difference in my movement and the aggression that I have to put into the machine to counteract with my own weight, okay? So we'll start small. They're bouncy too. So hips back, start with our weight back over the rear tire. I see a lot of guys when they're trying this technique for the first time, they start here, okay? Why don't we start there? Yeah, you're minimizing your own weight, your own movement forward. So why minimize? Always maximize, always maximize. Even if you don't need to. Good to over-exaggerate in training. Back. Slipping, same throttle power delivery that we were just working on. Slipping into the obstacle, up onto the pegs, drive my weight, release the clutch with a loaded engine, and reduce to hold traction over the top. That looked good, very nice. This is a little bigger. If you notice here, if my front tire's up here, that's more of a disadvantage. I gotta work harder to get above that. So the lower I can get my front, the better off I'm gonna be. Now there is a point, as I get too low, it starts to drive in and I lose a little bit, right? So there's a little bit of a fine line that we have to find. Same slip. Same slip you guys were just working on, right? Notice, it's balance. Just like you guys were doing. Back, I'm already balanced. I have one foot on the ground, but that's just to help a little. Up onto the pegs, drive my weight, release the clutch. Okay. If you guys were on this side, you would have seen that one went way easier than I thought it was. So I really threw a lot of weight. I started a wheelie and my foot went to the rear brake. I'm always on the balls of my feet, but I make the move. So that was kind of interesting, went a lot easier. So let's move it up a little. One thing I'll commonly see when riders are attempting an obstacle is they'll see a stick like that. So I should say, they don't see a stick like that. They don't look below them. I love looking for advantages, right? I want to give myself every advantage possible. I could lean down and get it, but if I just go here and spit it out like that, it's like if they're just a little crooked, a little bit, even something that big, a little bit sideways, a little bit crooked, you catch it and it changes your balance, your approach. There we go. So, we always look for maximum. We pull the bike back. Slipping. Hips back, up onto the pegs, drive my weight, release the clutch. Slipping. Same slip. As I drive my way forward, I'm balanced. That's what the practice we were just doing is. If I'm out of balance, it's gonna make it a lot harder to hit this obstacle, right? Up onto the pegs, drive my weight, release the clutch, drop my heels, pull my knees back, hold traction over the top as I reduce the throttle. Up onto my pegs, drive my weight, release the clutch, hold traction over the top, hopefully. Okay. That was good. Kind of lumpy on top. That was like, feel it. Yeah, squatting. Let's move up to the big rock and see if I can find a spot where I'm gonna fail. Okay. Smack my guts on the freaking raised ass handlebars these things have. Okay. We'll start here. Smack my guts on the freaking raised ass handlebars these things have. Okay. We'll start here. Pretty mellow because it's kind of just uphill. Right? Stand up onto the pegs, drive my weight, release the clutch. That's mellow. No big deal. Let's hit this side. We don't have a gummy tire either.
I knew it.
That's nice. Back this back, drive my weight, release. That's a good one. You can see there, like, I'm coming up onto the pegs. I have the control, I have everything, but I'm slipping. My rear tire's spinning. Why is my rear tire spinning? Anybody know? It's because I'm not collecting my power. I'm not collecting my power enough to hold traction over the top. This doesn't seem that tall, right? But it's a little bit of an uphill, and it's a little bit of a challenge to get up that, because it's also a little undercut, so my rear tire is really driving into it. It's hard to get up that and then hold traction on the top. That's why gummy tires are so nice, because they help you in those situations. They help you hold traction when you haven't collected 100%, right? Let's do it again. Again, it's almost like this is a little uphill too. So I'm at two disadvantages, which makes it challenging. Slipping into the obstacle. Okay. Did you guys hear what just happened there? Heavy power, but how low was the throttle up on top? It chugged down into the bottom. That's where I was able to hold traction. So it took me 3 tries to adjust to how much this Walmart tire is gonna hold.
It's a Tusk tire.
Yeah, Walmart. Right? Tusk, Walmart. It's cheap. So yeah, she was spinning for sure. Let's do this one. This isn't too bad probably, because it's not straight up and down. Pull it back, hips back, up onto the pegs, drive my weight, release. No big deal on that one. Now the other side here might be a little tougher. Yeah. Let's try right here. It's gonna be tough. We can get that, no dabs. A little undercut, right? So I actually kind of have to get lift as I come off the ground to get that tire to loft up top. Come on, keep your feet on the pegs, you big dork. Hate dabbing. It's never over for me. Even though I got up that nice and clean. That's plenty in a race, but come on now, Rich. Think about what you're doing. Nice. This side. A little bit taller here. Pretty large. Really drive. I'm kind of at a somewhat of an advantage here though, because I have kind of a downhill, right? So I don't have to really think so much about holding over the top. I can just kind of get up it. And then the gravity is going to help me a little here. There, it might not though. That might be the limit. I like that right there. Always finding that place, up or down, right? Where is that best place for me to find the maximum advantage? That was tasty. Man, sometimes I impress myself. All right. Now, did you guys see when I went up this how I had to get lift?
Right, now we're undercut. Now we're big undercut here, right?
Jap zap, that's a trials term, where you drive into the obstacle, find that maximum suspension compression, find that maximum weight on the ground, right? You ever jump up and down on a scale and your weight goes higher than you weigh, right? As you press down through the pegs, as you're getting maximum suspension compression into that obstacle, you're also increasing the amount of traction you can put to the ground. So at that same time, I'm loading the engine, and then as I get the rebound off of the ground, I release the clutch and reduce. That makes that bike go spring off of the ground and jump up on top, right? You can't drive your rear tire into that obstacle. It's way too undercut. I have to get lift to get up on top, right? So that's called the jab step. In a getting unstuck technique, it's hard to do because you have to drive in, get suspension compression all at once, and then you don't have that like advantage of movement and momentum.
Tell everybody, you know, when Rich and I were planning this, he's just like, what bike am I riding? What, like, he didn't say, hey, I want this or whatever. He just said, what am I riding? So I, you know, told him what I had. And I didn't want him to have any advantages. And I wanted you guys to all see, yes, the tires help, but it's technique, right? And form. And
For sure. I mean, there's a point where an IRC, like I feel it more. I'll be able to, you know, I'd grease all that first try for sure with a dummy. Can I do it without? Yeah, for sure. And again, I rode this bike for however long. And it's got risers and stuff.
Woo, doggy. Okay. That's pretty big. That's the stuff. Oh man, that went easier than I thought. I might be able to get the biggest side. Maybe. So did you guys notice here? Look at the difference. Right? We have a little bit of a crest. Now I don't get any crest. This might be the difference, right? So this is where we find out. It's like, wow, 5 inches, man. If that, right? We got this little bit around here. That little round spot helped me. Whereas now, we don't get that. So I'm really gonna have to, you know.
You had enough on that one to do it.
Say again?
You had enough on that last one to do it.
I think you're right. I think you're right. And that's gonna boost my confidence and make me feel like I can do it. Thank you. I need that. Because I'm going, I don't think I can do it. Believe in yourself. They went pretty good. Thing about these are they sure are snappy. Once I start adapting to the TPIs, I'm like, yeah, they go. You know, the betas are a lot more linear, I would say. No, progressive. Betas are a lot more progressive. It's just like, as you turn it, it gives you more and more and more. Whereas these are just like, just a little throttle is a lot, right? So we're gonna do our best. Oh! See, and that's the difference, right? It's like, look how much higher my front is. And the problem is it's undercut. So I can only come back about that far. So I'm at a big disadvantage here. Oy, oy, oy. Ooh, that might be it, boys and girls. Come up through it a little more. Maybe a little more reduction. Up is up. That's about all I got. You know, the disadvantage of undercut there, I'll give it one or two more, but I'm just not sure if I can overcome how much lift I need to get my rear to come into it. Yeah, that definitely doesn't help. This Walmart tire doesn't help either. Maybe. Try and cut over a little. Let's go.
Come on, I like it. That's the stuff. Ooh,
That was clean.
that feels good. That's a lot. That's probably the biggest undercut I've ever done. Right?
Walmart tires.
See that though? You saw there. I had doubts. Even after I got up on top, I'm like, dang it. I'm just not sure if I can do it. And then that next one, I said, I looked in your eyes and you thought, you got one more in you. And that's how I go. I'm like, all right, I'm going to give her my best. I went again, and I got up, that rear tire hooked.
Hey, Mark, you got that.
Right? You guys saw the rear tire hooked just a little. I didn't go straight to frame, it just hooked just enough. As soon as it hooked enough, I went, okay, I think I can do this. And then I went for it. And then I got further, and I almost bashed my own foot getting off of it, but I made it up, and I'm like, uh-oh, that's the one. I was silent coming around because I thought, I think I can get there. You guys see how much I have to drive my weight through the machine to be able to do this? Can you guys see the movement that I have to input to get above that obstacle? It is everything. And also, I'm glad we have this on video because I'm going to show this more in the future. You guys watch the media and stuff that I put out. I have to get a little bit of lift in that situation too. So I'm driving through to get more suspension compression as I'm driving my weight into the machine. And then we get that lift and that propulsion forward. Now, did you guys notice there is a knees over toes position in those situations? And in my opinion, you can't quite get it without pushing that weight all the way through the machine. So once I maximize forward here, I have to then maximize forward there, which I know I was after you guys over and over for not doing that, but the thing is there's a difference between that and always riding like that, right? Is that making sense to everybody? Hold on! What did he say?
Oh, it's the fan. You said the fan.
Shush! Oh yeah, quiet down. Freaking dance.
I thought you were just pumped.
About to rip that thing off.
I gotta go.
Huh?
So if say you're climbing a hill, but it's long and it's got about this incline, would you be knees over toes in this
That's
case?
a good question. So I will always say, I think it's about 45 and above.
Okay.
So do you know like what a slag pile is when they dump out of a dump truck a pile of dirt, right? A pile of dirt always lays at exactly a 45-degree angle, always. Gravity, something, I don't know, does though. I don't know why, but you dump a pile of dirt. So if you ever see like a mine or something, where they dump all that, the stuff that isn't ore, right, makes a perfect 45-degree angle. And I think that at 45 and above, you have to go knees over toes. I think at that position, that's where we have to go knees over toes, and we're like in that, holding our weight in front of the machine in relation to what we're riding. At this point, you can't drop your heels and pull your hips back because you can't get far enough forward over the front. So then we have to transfer into that knees over toes. This is right on the edge of that. You know, that if that was a constant hill, that would be pretty dang steep. That's pretty close to 45. So yeah, you would probably go to a knees over toes position there. If you ever see me do a hill climb or something, you'll see that position, floating above the seat that high with my butt. And I come forward like this, but imagine I'm riding the bike like this, right? So it looks weird if I do it on flat ground. But when the bike's straight up and down, it looks normal, right? Now, in this situation, you mentioned, yeah, the dirt's soft. You can see dirt is super soft. It was kind of funny, just right then I kind of forgot where we were. I was like, are we in Washington? Washington dirt does that. I remember racing enduro cross in the dirt there. You stepped on the face of a jump and the whole jump moves. Yeah, weird, and it ruts up like crazy. This is kind of similar to that. Has a lot of sponge to it. So that doesn't help. That tire is worn too. It's not brand new. So that doesn't help. It's hard. It's from Walmart. 4 things working against me. You can see it's undercut. I can't drive my rear tire here. My rear tire has to get up to here, at least, to get the drive up and over. Now, I do have the advantage of a little downhill after to hold me through, but the main piece of everything is stepping through that machine, getting through the bike, throwing my weight as hard as I can into the machine to allow me to get above it, to counteract those disadvantaged forces. Steeper the front tire is, harder it is.
Are you, when you get to that point when you're coming, you let out the clutch,
Yep.
and you're moving forward, and the bike's going forward towards the rear tire is going towards your obstacle, do you get to a point where you're lifting?
Yeah. So good question. So two things. First, you said, and I always just will correct you, just so you can apply it to your own technique. You said, as you're releasing the clutch, then driving your weight forward. It's the opposite. The drive is first, then the release happens.
So your body would be first?
Body first. Think about it. If I release the clutch, where does my bike go? Away from me.
That thing won't.
Then I'm at an even bigger disadvantage. I have to use muscle to get in front of it.
Well, it won't pull you up to that anyway.
Yeah. So you have to get it way ahead of it. And you can see here, I get way ahead. Then as the release happens, I drop back down. So that's on the small version. What you're asking is, do I lift? Yes. So there is a almost D-weight as I come forward. So I'm tracking and driving through as hard as I can, and then as soon as I release, I do that. Literally jumping. And if you put it in slow motion, and I did a zap on this, you guys saw me just do it at the beginning, right? Where I rode up that, and I get that lift, that spring. If you put it in slow motion, you'll actually kind of see my feet come off of the pegs. Like that. I'm trying to get the bike to jump off the ground, right? So to maximize that spring, and I'm squeezing with my toes. Obviously, my habit is riding with my toes pointed in all the time. So it makes that a little easier because automatically I'm already squeezing. But yes, I am de-weighting at that maximum release. Boom, I de-weight.
So right when you reach that point, like, so you're
Drive forward.
body, and then at what point do you start, like right before you reach, like as far as you
Yeah,
go
it's
so
like
far, right?
right before.
Right before you reach, you're like as far as you can go.
Yes.
And then you start releasing.
Then I release, and it's pretty quick.
Yeah.
I release, and as that release happens, I spring up. So I go forward, spring.
And then,
It's challenging.
yeah.
We're going to work it and work it and work it and work it. Obviously, you guys aren't going to be doing that, but you do it on a log, it's the same technique.
Kind of looks like the bike just shoots out freely.
You're exactly right.
And then you're just catching up with it.
Yes,
at the top.
exactly. So you're exactly right. Now think, if I'm all the way forward, I have the ability to let the bike fly out from under me. And then I just catch it. You guys see there, I caught it, and where was I? I was in perfect balance. Stop. Look over. Rev the engine. Get all stoked.